maybe a little bit of a anomaly in this regard, because I'm not actually a libertarian, and but I am very much a proponent of Bitcoin, because I would say I'm more of a classical, traditional conservative in many ways, maybe paleocon in a lot of ways, but um, and I recognize the libertarian ethos from which Bitcoin arises. I recognize the positive aspects of the history of classical liberalism. But I'm also very much a critic of classical liberalism, which you might think is ironic, given that I would be such a proponent of Bitcoin. But what I think has happened is that we're at a point now where those things in the past don't even really matter. I mean, they're interesting to study from a history of ideas perspective, or from a history of the world, or history of philosophy. And yes, they do relate. But I look at it like, look, if Bitcoin works, and if it is fair, and if it is just, and it's not a debt slave model, then it's virtuous money. It's actually a monetary system that is based on facts, truth, logic, math, objectivity, and virtue. And if that's the case, it doesn't really matter whether it came from libertarians, or even if some Marxist invented it, which obviously wasn't a Marxist. I don't think a Marxist could have invented it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I think we're at the point where it doesn't matter anymore about like, oh, you like Bitcoin, then you must be one of those libertarians. You must be one of those anarchists. You must be one of those conservatives getting deplatformed who, you know, wants to be a pseudo terrorist. Or none of those things even matter anymore. Now we're at a stage where it's like, we have to adopt some things that, even just from a pragmatic standpoint, that work. So if this is better, if this works, that's all the justification that's really needed. Yeah, I don't have a problem admiring and admitting the elements of the libertarian free market ethos that I do respect. But at the same time, I'm a big critic of neoliberalism. I'm a big critic of classical liberalism in many ways. That does not mean I'm a socialist. I'm not at all a socialist. I would be probably more amenable to something like a Hoppe view. Yeah, so I just think that just from those perspectives, when we do understand the reality of central banking, I mean, who cares if it comes out of a libertarian ethos, whether you agree with libertarianism or not? If it's a better, more virtuous, objective, truth-based model, then why would we not accept that?